Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Phillip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is City Alpha 3.
Hello and welcome to SETI Alpha 3, a Star Trek podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Prue, and joining me as always are my fellow Marooners? Marooned? The Maroons?
I mean, I like to think of us that when we're in a bad mood, we're kind of like a bunch of maroon monsters.
Okay, I can see that. See, but here's my problem, because I had a very strict dress code for this event tonight, guys. And I said, listen, you guys can wear whatever you want, as long as it's dress code.
I thought the scant was totally okay. You're saying it's not now.
No. Do you see there's a difference between a scant and an actual dress code dress? And the difference is like 3 inches, I'd say, or so.
Yeah. I feel like someone's going to come and measure our knees with
Daniel, they obviously don't use inches in the 24th century, so I don't even know what that is.
Centimeters.
Well, 3 centimeters and 3 inches is very different.
Well, here's the thing. As someone who went to a very, how do I put this delicately, a very modest, very conservative high school, basically a full dress went at least beyond wherever your arms landed when they were completely by your side. So anything less is inappropriate, Darren, so you need to change your scant out, is what I'm trying to say.
I remember, I don't know what this says about where I went to school, but when I was younger, it was a rural area in Virginia, but I remember when we finally changed the policy that you were allowed to wear shorts to school.
Oof, that's rough.
Yeah.
Was that 1952, Philip? When was that?
Ages ago. So we do have
It was pre.
Were you ever that young, Philip?
So we do have something along those lines to talk about, but of course, we've kind of got hit with a bomb today, guys. So really, I'm going to try to parse this as clear as I can.
We have a star date.
Discovery's coming out. It's actually official right now. There's a date,
not just a month, but an actual day and a time in a time zone.
Do we believe this?
I have to say, I didn't see a year, so I believe there's some wiggle room.
Okay, that is true, but I think, yeah.
So, Darren, we were just talking about this earlier. Do you want to? What is the specifics here? What do we got? What day? What's happening? We're getting a split release, right? Essentially, is what's going on.
Yes, the powers that be have decided we are getting Star Trek Discovery on Sunday, September 24th, 2017.
Sunday.
And it will air at 8:30 p.m. I believe Pacific time, the best time. And that will air on CBS. And immediately following that broadcast, which is where it starts at a certain time, you can't pause it, and they decide when the commercials are. So when that's over, episode 2 will drop immediately, and so both the pilot, I guess, and episode 2 will be available on CBS All Access immediately after the broadcast. Then we will get new Star Trek every Sunday until November 5th. Then we'll take a nice break until, they're getting a little loose again, January 18, which... there's 4 weeks in January, so pick one of those, but at least we're getting a 2-month break before we get Chapter 2 and the last 7 episodes of Season 1.
Now, is it Chapter 2 or Chapter 1.5?
Well, they've called them 2 chapters, so...
Well, we don't use numbers when it's probably 1.A.
Alpha
probably what we're doing
and
here.
Beta.
You're right.
I mean, come on. If
1A,
any
1B,
series you're going to throw in the
right.
cool Greek terms, this would be the one.
Now, wait. Do we call the first half the Shunzu chapter? And then
depends when it gets destroyed. I don't know.
Oh, spoilers!
I have no idea if that actually happens. Just saying.
So, Philip, as a big fan of Doctor Who, we talked about this a little before the show, but which also has kind of these split season kinds of things where they take giant breaks. I don't know. Are we going to get like a Christmas special with
Lord.
all of these characters?
That would be awesome.
Okay. I could be okay with a break if we got a
special.
Christmas special. Put them in the tree like with Q, and no.
Oh, actually, Q would be a really awesome.
Oh my
person
gosh.
to have a Christmas special with. That would be great. He could actually be Santa.
He's reading the story by the fireplace.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Well, yeah, it's because it's going to be a thing of when the captain regenerates and we get a new captain, and we're all kind of like, I like the old one.
Well, we are getting, for our second captain, it is going to be a crusty old British white guy, right?
Yeah, but something tells me the
so-
Shinzu isn't making it through 7 episodes. Just saying, I don't think that's when the transition is going to happen.
I don't know, guys. They've put a lot of work into that Shinzu bridge just to blow it up.
That's what Hollywood does, Philip.
With our dreams. Well, one of the things there's an article today about like, no, guys, this is why we took so long. Which I'm like, I'm sure everything you're about to say is completely true. But just we're not going to criticize here. But what they are saying is that they're putting a lot of work into the Discovery Bridge, and I think it's interesting. Like, do you guys think? And this is all speculative, and obviously will be answered soon enough. But do you guys think we'll see anything Discovery before it starts? Because they've been very like, we're not showing you anything,
which
we're not
is
showing you
really
the ship.
strange
We're not
because
showing you the
Hollywood
bridge.
loves like teasing ships blowing up and major plot points ahead of time. So that's true. That is kind of a direction they're taking of not showing the main ship. I mean, we've seen it in the poster that came out, today. Again, it's still the
motion poster, not just a regular poster.
The GIF poster.
Are you talking about the GIF one?
Oh, it's not
where
GIFing on my page, so I didn't realize it.
it just moves in a field of stars. It's an
Though I could when I first saw it, I'm like, this is cool. My second thought was like, Daniel's gonna hate that warp trail.
well, that and it's disappointing enough it's enough information to know that Discovery hasn't changed forms significantly.
No, I mean the detail and little things
it's
like that. It's pretty much what we expected.
Yep, which is fine. I'm not really a stickler. It's not going to ruin the show or anything like that for me. It's fine. It is interesting that is that really the excuse they gave, because I hadn't seen that.
Well, yes, it was sort of like, guys, we've been so attentive to everything.
Yeah.
We had to go to like Cambodia to get this made, and I'm like,
Switzerland, yeah.
But did they specify that they were using the extra time to work on the Discovery Bridge?
From what I had read, they said they were world building on a level unprecedented in Star Trek, and which was really interesting to me because they're like, oh, we're 3D printing things, we're designing everything from scratch, and I get that, I get what they're saying, but so much, I mean, from my own experience in like prop making or in movie making, so much of that. It's just way easier just to find things and convert them. Like, they're making it sound like nothing can touch, like a chair. It can't just be a new back on a chair you buy in the store. We have to engineer the chair from scratch. Like, I don't know if that's the case, but it's like, just find things and make them into what you need to be. Like, you literally don't have to make it all from scratch.
I just needed to find some more sand for them to tap dance on is what I was looking for, but no, like, I mean, whatever. It's coming out. We have a date. I'm happy. I'm not gonna, whatever.
No. What's crazy to me?
I don't need the corporate claptrap about it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I thought, like, specifically, we were saying that they said they needed more time for the bridge, which would have caused concern for me. Not concern, but it certainly would have caused me to reevaluate my assumptions that the Shenzhou is going to be destroyed no less than 5 minutes into the show. And maybe that's the case. Maybe the show is split pretty evenly. Maybe we do spend 6 episodes on the Shenzhou, which would be... I have no problem with that idea. That concept would even be kind of interesting and cool to see, like, a big transition between the two.
I mean, like, there's and I don't know how much this was real, but there was always the rumor that, like, with Enterprise... in one version, like, you wouldn't even get into space until like the season finale or halfway through or something like that.
Which I liked that idea.
And especially since we know there's going to be a break, I mean, I'm assuming we can expect some sort of mid-season cliffhanger.
Star Trek doesn't really do that kind of thing.
You mean they pioneered it, Daniel?
I will say, honestly, sometimes I feel a little cynical about Discovery, and I don't mean to, because I am very excited about it. And what hit me the most about this announcement, I didn't see the whole thing, obviously, like you guys did, but I'm just excited. We're 2 months away. Like, we're 60 days away from new Star Trek. And not just new Star Trek, not like it's been for the past 10 years or so. It's not just a movie that it's a one and done. We're getting new episodes every week. And I'm excited. I really am. Not everything is amazing or exactly how I would have done it, but I don't care. I'm excited. I'm ready to dive in. I want to live in that world again.
And this will be my first experience, like, and I guess people must do this. No, Well, anyway, this is gonna be my first experience like sitting there online, hitting refresh, waiting for the episode to go live. You know, like I guess some people do that with Netflix, but not really, because all like comes out and the whole thing's out. So I guess to a certain extent, you're pressing refresh till the whole season dumps. But this is just an episode per episode, so like I don't like. And I forget what you said, Darren, as far as like when it comes out on All Access, when it comes live, whether that's the same time.
They
or whether there's a
said
lag.
that it will drop on All Access as soon as the broadcast is over.
See,
So
which is going to be
nothing
dicey.
terrible could happen to the servers at that moment.
Well, that would be, well, and that's true. That's actually saying that the servers are programmed to drop it at the appropriate time. Like I've seen Netflix series drop half a day early. Like it all depends.
Right. But the problem is they've picked, and I'm not an expert, though I've known this when I watch CBS. It's a football game. That means it's going to end whenever it ends. There's not a time. And then you have 60 minutes that's going to have to go in right afterwards, and it's full time. And so it's going to be like, it'll be on at 8.
Well, I mean, my assumption is if it's starting at
8:45.
8:30, then at 9:30, it's going to drop online, Pacific.
If it starts at 8:30.
Now,
Why would it not, though? Like, why would it not?
The football game. You don't know what time a football game will stop.
But it's not a football game. It's a pre-programmed television show.
No. Football game comes on right before 60 Minutes does, right before Discovery comes on.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So that football game will push 60 Minutes, as it often does, which will push Discovery. So
I am not,
Well, at least we only have to deal with that on the pilot, and then we don't have to deal with that ever again.
I would never
Again, yes.
condone any sort of illegal activity or anything terrible happening to CBS. If, however, the show happened to come out somehow, some weird technological way
goodness.
beforehand, I would probably, let's just say I would probably investigate it just as a Star Trek fan, curious and...
Well, we'd have to see if this leak was legitimate, so we would have to investigate.
What? Yeah,
it.
exactly.
As you know, anyway.
Anyways, we don't want to spend too much time on this.
Oh, yeah, I
but
see it
was-
now, Philip. Note, time approximate following the NFL football and 60 Minutes. Oh, why did you do that, CBS?
You know, honestly, regardless, guys, I don't pay much attention to this era's sporting events, so it doesn't really matter. But hopefully, I don't know. I don't have CBS anyways. I'm a cable cutter. I don't have this. I'm going to be using All Access or possibly other means to watch Star Trek. So it doesn't really bother me that I would have to wait for that in those circumstances. But I'm just excited to get the release date, to know where we're going to watch it, when we're going to watch it. And as long as I know that Sunday night at 10 o'clock, I don't even care if it's later than that. I'll just get on and I can watch the 2 episodes back to back. I'm excited about that.
And, you know, when you have a podcast the next day, you know.
That's true.
Yeah,
it's fortuitous that we
fresh in
record
our
on Monday
mind.
nights, so...
Yeah.
Although we do need to set up some viewing parties where we all try to watch the dropped episode at the same time. That would be a lot of fun.
I mean, if we're all going to be doing it Sunday night anyways.
I guess it depends what time it drops.
We need to
That's true.
got to set up a live tweet chat.
Well, it's going to be like, I don't know, it's going to be like May for you. So I think it'll be fun.
No, but I mean, like after the premiere day, the next week, what time does it drop on a Sunday?
Oh, yeah.
It could technically drop early.
And then they haven't announced, I mean, not that it's something I'm necessarily looking forward to. I say that neutrally. They haven't really announced any more details about the after show other than, yes, it will be airing weekly on All Access.
Yeah. I don't think I really care, honestly, about the after show.
Don't know the name, the host.
the
gonna
after
be
show is
super
called
funny.
Star Trek City Alpha 3. It comes out on Fridays the week after.
You know, it'd be awesome if they got us to host the show.
It's going to be calling Discovery Discussion. Discussing Discovery.
There's got to be a better way.
Don't worry, we got a couple months to figure out a good title there, Philip.
We'll workshop it.
Okay. All right. Well, that's enough for Discovery for this week. Trust me, we're probably going to be hit with a lot of news in the coming weeks. And again, at the very latest, in 2 months or so, we're going to be getting it every week. So I'm excited. So, but that's it. But that's not what we're talking about this week, guys. Our introduction kind of hinted, or I guess not really subtly hinted, at what we're going to talk about. And I want to stay very specific here. We're going to be talking about the Starfleet uniforms of Star Trek. Now, I'm going to open this up to Philip, the only member of our cast that has actually been a part of well, not a kind of military. He was actually a part of the military
It
organization.
was kind of a military. I mean,
I mean, America, is it really known for its military?
Philip, how long did you serve in the military for?
Roughly 8 years.
Okay, and in those 8 years
of your human years.
So
Yeah, that's right.
Were there a lot of major costume? Sorry, that wasn't.
Wow.
That came out a little wrong. Were there many major?
Yes, I have my rifle prop I use a lot.
Were there major uniform, like super major uniforms?
Well, it's you, and I know what you're getting at, and the answer is surprisingly yes.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
I can tell you when I joined the Army in 2001 or 2002, predominantly we had what was called the BDUs. In the Army, and folks probably know that more. That's your green woodland pattern that you kind of think of in the Be All You Can Be. It's pretty much been the uniform for probably, post-Vietnam War era. So that was pretty much it. But then where I was, and due to, of course that was post 9/11 when we were involved in several things in Afghanistan and later in Iraq, we went to a desert variation uniform, which is what I ended up wearing most of my time where I was, because I was in the California desert, and so we wore the Desert Army uniform. So we were wearing the desert uniform. Also, our headgear kept changing. So we had sort of what was called a patrol cap, baseball cap if you want to think of it that way. But then we went to what was called a black beret, because it's a black beret, that's why it was called that. We went to a black beret headgear. And so then, probably a few years later, we went to what's called an ACU, which is a different kind of uniform variation. It was kind of a little bit more Velcro-y and pockety, had lots of pockets. It was a little more utilitarian, a little bit more modern looking. So instead of having rank on your collar, which is when I joined, you had rank on your chest.
Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, so you actually had rank placement
and we changed boots. Because when I joined, of course, you had to polish your boots, blah, blah, blah. But then we had what the Marines changed at first when we stole it from them. You got desert boots. We got these nice tan boots that are a little bit more like very nice Timberlands, almost, except more, utilitarian. But like that color material, so you didn't have to shine boots anymore. And then even after that, in Afghanistan, I saw there's another uniform. I never wore it, but I saw folks wear it. And it's kind of back to a woodsy looking look. And I don't know what the technical term for it is, but that's all. And then our dress uniform changed because being an officer, I mean, we all wore dress uniforms in the Army, but being an officer, you have a special kind. So, it used to be all dress greens. Everyone wore dress greens, and then just the enlisted wore dress greens, and the officers wore dress blues, and then they changed the dress blues, and so you look like waiters almost. So uniform changes are entirely realistic.
Okay, wow, that's really kind of eye opening. I didn't realize, like, when you said like rank placement changed and everything, that it kind of dissolves all sorts of criticism I have for Star Trek, and we'll get into it, of course. But
it was always funny because when you sort of got promoted, the whoever would be promoting you, it used to be like they would pin your rank on your collar at that time. But then we went to Velcro chest. You sort of just like pounded the person in the chest when you promoted them. So which is not to be too technical, but if you were promoting a woman, that was interesting. And so, but yeah, so it's little funny things we had to get used to. Because it was funny because the ACs that I talked about, people when they first came in called them what everyone calls the TOS uniforms, pajamas. They're like, it's because they're so light and zippy and all that. So yeah.
So now, Darren, I imagine you have a bit of a different experience. I mean, I know there was a few years before the Battle of Yavin, the uniform was significantly different. But things have changed, and now we're on to something new, even maybe duck kind of influenced.
I thought we were going to go the Boy Scout route, but well, we can do Star Wars. One is real and one's not, but
Right.
He's not revealing which.
I'll leave that up to you. But yeah, well, I mean, yes, if that's what we're talking about, there is the progression of armor of a stormtrooper from a clone trooper to a phase 2 clone trooper to a specialized clone trooper to what we see in A New Hope to, and there's even variations in the 3 movies there, and then we get
The Arctic.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Rage.
Then you get more specialized.
Scout
Yeah, you get
trooper.
scout troopers and snow troopers, and then you get the first order troopers. So they do a really good job of tying things together in that universe as things progress. But I think
Darren, I kind of sensed a little disappointment in you. Would you have rather I asked you about the
Boy
Scouts?
Scouts didn't really change too much while I was in there. It's we went up an edition and handbook, but that was pretty much it.
Though I still call it the new handbook, even though it's been 20 years.
But one of the things that I always felt was strange, though, is that the Rebel uniforms, they were very inconsistent with like how they displayed rank. I mean, you see it the most in like Echo Base in A New Hope or in Empire Strikes Back with like the pill pops, with like the 5 red dots together. But in other times, like their rank is kind of just like a greebly bit that's all black and gray. It doesn't actually scream "I am this rank." So it's interesting.
Now, because I'm not familiar with your franchise, is Gribbly Bit the Star Wars version of Jim Jam?
Pretty much.
I don't know
Pretty
what-
much, yeah.
I don't know what Greebly Bet meant either, and I was like kind of
A
curious.
greebly is
if
just
that's
like a little bit of detail. So like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, that's
okay,
actually a
okay.
term. So think of like, I don't know, like if you're okay, USS Voyager, and it's got that kind of like sensor palette on the nose. All those little like bits,
Okay.
those are just called greeblies.
Okay,
It's
gotcha.
just a universal
Gotcha.
term for like little bits of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something like texture, something to give something
Exactly, but
texture
usually
or
more in a
like,
mechanical way of like it looks like it does something, but it's not like you could point to something and say this does this. It's just a greebly is a general term.
So Star Destroyers are covered with.
Oh
greebly.
yes, yeah.
Yeah,
That happened a
okay.
lot when you
Well, the
had
board-
just your kit bashing. You're taking model
okay.
parts from a battleship, and you're like, okay, this part can go here and this can go here. I mean, that's how they made them.
Or even Galactica.
Borg cube.
Yeah, no, I
Oh,
totally
yeah,
get that.
yeah.
Like that's totally like a word that I feel like I should have known, but I didn't know before. Anyways, this is fascinating. But we're not talking about Battlestar Galactica or Star Wars or even the real military. We're talking about Starfleet uniforms, and we should get into it. Since
We're gonna have our mid-season cliffhanger right here, mid-episode cliffhanger, and now for the second half of
It'll
this
leave you
episode,
in
we'll actually be talking about Starfleet uniforms.
It'll leave you in stitches.
So, that's good. I like that. So let's jump right into it. Normally, I'm an advocate of in-universe chronology, but because these things kind of influence themselves outside of it, I'm going to start with the original stuff and move forward from there. So we'll start with the help me out, the pilot, the original pilot.
Cage.
the
The cage. We'll start with the cage, which we're not going to spend a lot of time on because it's terribly, terribly, terribly boring, and there's not a lot. I mean,
I disagree.
okay,
I
all right. Well, that's
disagree.
fair. That's fair. Okay, let me just get my thing out, and then you can talk about it. Obviously, it sets kind of a tone for Starfleet uniforms. It kind of establishes what we want to see, but it does it in these are, I guess they're sweaters. I don't.
They look
feel
really
sweatery.
comfy.
They do. I guess they look a little hot, which is something I think we'll come back to. And if,
You don't know how cold they keep those.
I
Starfleet
don't.
ships.
It's true. But everything's very drab and colorless, and it's a very stark contrast to what we're about to see in the next episode throughout the original series. But go ahead, Philip. Tell me why you like the cage uniforms.
No, I'm just saying the cage. You said are you saying the uniform is boring or the
Oh
cage?
no,
is
I was saying
boring?
I was saying the cage uniforms are are
Oh, I was going to say the cage isn't boring.
no.
But anyway, the
I was-
uniforms.
well, I mean, we are talking Starfleet uniforms here.
Oh well, because this is of course the cage / where no man has gone before.
Correct. Yep. Mhm.
Because of course we do see Kirk in the brown sweater as well. Yeah, and I think you can sort of forgive it when you watch it because you're like, okay, it's your first outing as this sci-fi show. Uniforms. We thought about it, but we didn't think that much about it. Everyone's kind of wearing the same. Everyone has sort of like the one like gray rank sleeve, so like everyone's the same rank. I guess I don't know.
There's only
It's
two
sort of
colors.
very-
Are there 3 colors? I only remember seeing 2, but I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, I don't think so. So it's all very sort of like Russian. We're all workers here in Starfleet. Just some are more equal than others. But yeah, no, it's for what it is. It's and then the women sort of have like the low or the fluffy sweater collar. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're boring compared to what we get in the primary colors that are coming up. Hey, you should buy color TV, which I think is actually what happened because, of course, the cage was literally in black and white, and so you didn't have to go for color. What's the point? It's in a black and white, and so I think when Star Trek was filmed later in color, as it all is, then that was sort of a reason to pop it from there.
Yeah, I mean, we get the pretty close to the insignia. The I guess at that time it would be the Enterprise insignia, but what we come to recognize is the Starfleet insignia as well. The rank pips are a little off. I don't know, just
well, I call them. I get what you're saying.
I'm sorry, pips. I shouldn't have said pips. The stripes. The stripes are a little off. It just feels a little like fluffy and. Well, it's just it's a pilot, and it's okay, and it's like it doesn't bother me. It's not. I don't have a huge problem with them. They're just slightly more boring than what we're about to discuss. So
now they did have some land. Okay, and I'm oh, this is hard. It's been a while since I've seen the cage, but I believe I'm correct in saying they did have a wait or landing party. Excuse me, landing party jacket.
Yep, they did. Gray jacket,
which you don't see in Star Trek. I will.
Well, that's not true. We do see it, just very rarely.
Okay, well, there you go.
Nothing. Anything
as well as the phaser cannon. So,
anything about the cage that jumps out at you, Darren?
No, I mean we've pretty much covered it. I do feel how. I mean, we'll get to Star Trek 2009 later, but I mean the fact that their pre quote unquote TOS time also has like everyone's wearing blue and it's very similar. So I could see parallels there. And again, Star Trek can get recursive in that way, which was nice.
Now, not to anticipate, but now you're going to make me rewatch the beginning of 2009 to see how much it looks like Discovery.
Well, you're going to do that anyway. So.
We will definitely talk about that. We will definitely absolutely talk about that. But let's move into TOS proper. We get the red, the blue, and the gold.
Which did you? I feel like I've only learned about this in the past 6 months and a year. So do you guys know that that's not supposed to be gold? That it's only gold because of the camera? That it's literally off green? That blew my mind. When they take photos, that's off green. What Kirk is wearing, it just comes across because of
the way the cameras
pick it
and
up. Everything else as gold. And I'm like, are you kidding me? But you can see it if you start to look at it. It doesn't look like gold. Well, and it's kind of like
so this was a part of TOS uniform canon that I was going to discuss later, but do you think that's why we get the green captains thing later on?
Where it's like, okay, now we're going to go for broke with the green. So this is really green. It's going to show up green.
Interesting. I did not know
that.
I
didn't know that either.
Yeah, and you can kind of see it. Like once I've planted that in your brain when you watch, well, I don't know, because maybe depends which one you're watching, I guess. If you're watching the new one, they might pop up the gold a little bit, for the remasters. But yeah, and when you see it, because it kind of does trick your brain a little bit. It's sort of like when, and I know I'm skipping ahead, but when we went kind of teal blue for science, and you're like, is that the same color that they had before? And you have to see two of them together.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture now, like that famous one where they're all just kind of sitting on the bridge. And yeah, I mean, if it's one of those things where if you held it up against something that was true gold, you would see that it does have a bit of green in it. It's a green gold.
Yeah, which I think is an odd choice. I mean, in retrospect, yellow seems like it pops more.
But I mean, a more goldish
green?
color, green gold. I could kind of see that because I mean, if you ever are drawing something and you make it like bright, solid yellow, like nothing looks good on it. Like white doesn't look good on it. Like it's a very harsh color.
Because I mean that's your leading man you're framing and
the helmsman and operation, but
true,
they're all the center is gold, and then all the periphery is usually the red and the blue.
That's true. There's the spectrum of green. Blue's in the beside because he's always Spock or Bones, and then the background is Uhura and Scotty and random.
And again, it's like,
randos
what
in
shade of red? I mean, it's red, but there's lots of different shades of red. And
then, interestingly enough, this is, I guess, it's uniform based, but not, I think, what we're talking about. Uhura did wear off green / gold for an episode.
And I think it's also,
so.
yeah, she's worn gold in 1 or 2 episodes. But it's interesting. I think it's almost like your mind retcons it, because when we see the gold of Next Gen, we like retcon that it's the same shade in TOS, even though, like you said, it's not.
But it's not at all.
Although, I wonder if Trouble and Tribulations, though, do they go with the? That's actually seems like a more gold.
But again, I think they're using remastered TOS footage for that, so I think they may cause those colors to pop a certain way. Well, because I mean, the confusing thing, and I don't know, I'm not a vision color science whatever about why that does look gold to all of us, and we all thought it was gold the whole time. But then, like, here's the color. You take a picture of it. It's sort of like, what color is the dress thing all over again.
Yeah, what color is the dress? Yeah, what color is the scant? Daniel, what color is the scant?
So while we're on the subject, we can talk about TOS dress uniforms.
I like them. They don't use them enough.
Yeah.
Court martial.
Journey to Babel.
Journey. Yep.
Don't they use it in the menagerie?
Yeah.
Because that's a trial case too.
I'm trying to remember too, because Spock is on trial. I can't remember. Is my answer. I think maybe Spock wore his because he's on trial. But I can't remember is the answer. But yeah, I mean, it's the same pants, and the only thing you're changing is the top. But nevertheless, it is for something to think about, because it has that glossy material.
They do.
Almost like what McCoy wore sometimes.
They're both in their
sleeve.
dress, so they have the gold band and all their triangle medals on their.
Yeah, I liked it. It wasn't too busy, and I like the colors even popped even more. And then, of course, you had the captain's wraparound for when the captains get a little pudgy.
I think the green tunic later on.
Yeah, I think my favorite TOS uniform by far is the wraparound.
And see, there you embrace the green a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's obvious, I guess, that's green because it has the gold sort of.
That's true, because the dress uniforms, like, again, in the menagerie, like, they're definitely green. Like, the admiral that's there is in green.
Yeah, it's not gold, not even close to gold.
That's true. Yeah, so that's very interesting that green is your leading.
So do we then think that the original intent was to have his uniform, like that uniform, be green and not gold, and maybe it just came off slightly gold and then it just kind of picked up steam?
I think it's just a greenish gold.
I feel like
it's
the answer
just
is yes.
Like I was kind of mentioning just with Phillip, like, pure yellow doesn't look very good. Like, in general, it's hard to put things on it. But most colors we see, like yellows and blues, like they're not the pure form of the shade. So yeah, adding a bit of green, a little bit of gold, dark yellow into it, does give it, I think, much more dynamic.
And this might be really a thing for a little bit later, but I would have loved to have seen the kind of updated version of the wraparound tunic in the Kelvinverse. I really would have liked that, especially like in the beginning of Discovery when he's just comfortable and like, this feels routine, so I just wear my kind of...
I feel like when he's doing the closet shot and you see there's like
and you just have one
green one,
man,
that would have been really cool. He doesn't have to wear it. It's just you see it there on the side.
Yep. and there's a little tag on it that's marked like Friday.
Casual Greed Friday.
That would have been great. All right, well, moving on from that, and you guys, I'm going to rely on you, specifically you, Darren. Are there any real big differences in the animated series? Is there any
Yeah, it's right around this stomach area.
Okay.
And if you ever travel outside this ship, you just go bzzz.
Other than the belt.
Oh gosh, you really want to be asking Aaron Harvey about that, but it's
I know.
I think overall it's much more.
Sometimes one arm is a different color.
That's true. There are more errors that could happen, but for the most part, it's very similar to TOS. Nothing really stands out in my memory.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we haven't talked about it because it's obvious, but I'll mention it. So the miniskirts, right?
Yeah, good point. So, okay, Star Trek was produced in the 1960s, and obviously women just couldn't wear pants.
Women wore less.
treated like
as,
blank.
Dax would say.
You just can't wear pants because, well, no, it's so stupid, right?
I don't know why.
Well, am I wrong in remembering? But did Majel wear pants? Number 2 wore pants,
Well,
right?
Number 1.
I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Excuse me for that mistake. I'm sorry.
Already demoted the
I'm
woman.
sorry. I apologize. She did.
But no, yes. The answer is yes. Of course.
Yeah, she wore pants in the cage.
Yes, and that's why she had to get getting rid of for 50 years and not coming back.
So I will actually rescind my original comments and say that the uniforms in the cage are superior in the fact that the women wore pants, and it was
even the yeoman, if I'm correct, it's been a while. Even that yeoman wore pants, I believe.
She did in fact, yeah. So the mini skirts obviously are meant to draw attention to the legs of the actresses there. It was the 60s. It's not an excuse, but it's just the way it was, and obviously we would prefer it that everybody got to wear pants, right?
Yeah, everyone wore pants. The only person who wears a dress is the one woman who was on the planet. She's the only one with no pants on. Who
was trapped there, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on because there's lots to talk about and only so much time. But
now, if we're going to talk about the motion picture, I assume this discussion will last an hour, but it'll probably most of the time we'll be looking at the uniforms and not talking about them.
No, this conversation is about the motion picture. It's going to last 30 seconds because these uniforms are awful, terrible, and ugly, and should have never existed. But that's just my opinion, and that's all I have to say about it. What about you guys? What do you think?
I don't. Anyway, well, like everyone can like what they like, so I preface by saying that. But this resurgence of love for the motion picture is look. I'm glad. Hey, if people love it, I'm glad. I don't see it. I still don't see it. It's like I put it this way: would I ever show the motion picture to my wife? The answer is no. I would not ever show that to I would never, like, if she stumbles upon it somehow in a drunken blunder of my Star Trek materials and manages to throw that disc into the DVD player and watch it. That's the only way she's going to watch that. I mean, I would never have her watch that. But as far as the uniforms, again, the actual uniform aside, that life belt buckle, like, do they ever actually explain it
not
in the motion picture? Because I've not known
what
that was for like 20 years. I'm like, why are they wearing like 10 pounds of metal on their navel? I had no idea what's going on, and so like you have to like watch the animated series, and be like, oh, well, that still doesn't really make sense.
The only thing that this belt buckle, and we say belt buckle kind of sarcastically because they don't wear belts. It's just a piece.
Oh, this was tuck out. This is 70s. Dan. You just tuck out.
And Darren, like, the only thing this reminds me of are power morphers. That's all I've ever
I always thought it looked like a Type 1 phaser. Like it had that overall curve shape.
I could see that. I could see that.
I don't even know what I thought it was. The many times.
Well, I mean, it was obviously part of the uniform because like, everybody had
out
one.
of it. Yeah, but like it just. Hey, isn't that like about like 5 pounds just hanging? Like, shouldn't your uniform be like pulled down the whole time? Yeah, everyone should have like really long necklines or something. It just seems extremely uncomfortable.
I'm sorry.
Like, how do you take that off? With like, does it come off and then you take your shirt off? Or I don't know.
I don't find anything redeeming about these uniforms. I not even a little thing that I could say I like. I don't like these uniforms at all.
I guess are they comfortable? Well, actually, I read, because I was just reading Star Trek magazine. When they're talking about this, I think they said that the shoes, or maybe what do you call it? I know I used to know what that word meant, which you cover up your heel with.
Stirrup,
whatever,
mm-hmm.
Something like that. But anyway, that was sewn on, so like you couldn't take your shoes off or your boots off or whatever it is you were wearing.
So once you put it on, they sewed the stirrup on. Wow, that doesn't make any sense. There's this thing called Velcro that you could use.
Yeah, and especially to be in the which, I mean, we're about to get there in about 2 discussions, I know, but like. Look, women, they should complain 100%. But as a man, I would not be super comfortable in the onesie. I mean, things show. like all the men would have to be wearing a certain, a cup or something. I don't know, but anyway, it's very strange.
Not my favorite. Not by any stretch of the imagination.
But I will say, oh wait, no, that's Wrath of Khan. Yeah, no, yeah, okay.
I found a note. Wrong uniform. Also, what was? And I'm throwing this out here, I know randomly. What was Ilea wearing? Like, is that just like V'ger?
She actually didn't get dressed that morning. She got called lingerie? To work. She was just getting ready for the day.
She did get dressed. It was only half dressed. She had misplaced her power buckle, which connects to your pants.
That's okay.
So
it kind of reminds me of like The Bride and November Rain, the Guns N' Roses video. But anyway, look it up.
All right,
kids.
we'll move on here because not to say that there's nothing good to be said of it. There's nothing that any of us really care to talk about for this, and please, like, let us know if there's something that you love about these uniforms. Let us know, because I'm actually curious about like what it is that people really enjoy about these things. To me, it's drab and boring and blah.
But it is the last time we will see the rank embroidery, because and I'm talking about in real time. Everything else is going to be Pip from now on. So these are the last in motion pictures. The last time you get the embroidered rank on the insignia, on the sleeves.
Okay. All right. Well, then let's move on to what happens next, which is, of course, as Philip mentioned earlier, the Monster Maroons. Now, for a great many Star Trek fans, the best uniform. Now, not for me. I feel like this uniform is crazy hot. It's got to be. I've mentioned this before. Like, you're wearing like 5 layers at this point. It seems really, and like you get this cotton collar, and it's like, but the design is fine. I like the design. You know what? I've been talking. Tell me, guys, what you guys like and dislike about the Monster Maroons.
Most of the power is going to the warp core, Daniel. So, like, the rest of the ship is freezing because we don't have enough power for the environmental system. So
it's possible.
That's why you see the engineers are like sweaty, just wearing their whatever stuff, because it's just, you're working right next to the engine. It's terrible.
This is the uniform that we see from Star Trek II all the way through Star Trek VI. It's become and then obviously beyond. We see it in Generations. We see it in the C episode, which I can't remember the name off the top of my head.
Yesterday's Enterprise.
We also see it in, of course, Flashback and Voyager.
Although Yesterday's Enterprise was slightly
Tapestry.
different in the fact that I'm pretty sure they aren't wearing the undershirt, so they don't have the collar, which is a big thing of the Monster Maroons. Is they all have different collars, and I think a tiny bit of different trim, but maybe on their the cuffs. But that's really yes, they look way more uniform in the fact that they're all the same color, the red. But I kind of wish we knew more, or I don't know, it's right on the edge between too many different colors, like everybody's got their own color, versus like there's only 3 colors. Like, you need to kind of find something in the middle.
It's so funny because I like, and maybe this is my bias, I like the blue uniforms of Enterprise and of the Kelvin universe with the blue. I like them way better than I like these reds. I don't know what it is about the red color. It just doesn't do it for me. It just doesn't. I also think that they're not distinctive enough with their alternate colors that it makes it meaningful. I don't know. I think the red overpowers the collars in these uniforms.
No, I'm trying to think. Oh, lordy, and this is all like I'm trying to cram 5 movies in my head at one time. I know there is, for the women, of course, only. There is a skirt variation, because I can picture, Commander Uhura wearing a skirt. I mean, a sensible black skirt. But I believe they also did wear pants. 'Cause for some reason, I can assume Savick was wearing pants.
Yep.
And even Uhura was wearing pants during certain things. So, but there you sort of had which is in the Army variant too. The women, the dress blues, believe had the choice, though it was still, at least in my time, kind of like wear the skirt. Which they wear whatever they want, but they sort of had the choice between pants and skirt. But I think with the Monster Maroons, I think I like that. To me, that is sort of very Star Trek. Like, that's one of the uniforms that pops out. Like, oh, as a deep, deep, deep obsessive fan, the one thing I don't like about it, even though I've watched the movies a lot, but maybe not enough, if that's possible, is to me things don't pop out. Like, I know the captain's rank and I know commander's rank. Everything else I'm guessing. Like, oh, that's a lieutenant.
Yeah.
I don't know what rank that is. And then as far as divisions, I was like, everyone's wearing white. Because, like, even people that shouldn't be seem to be wearing white. Like, McCoy, sometimes he's wearing, like, not white. And maybe he's not wearing it. And I'm just messing it up in my head. But as far as, like, tell me the person's rank and what branch or, what division they're in, very hard to tell with the Monster Maroons.
That's true.
So... And we also have this situation where we have this kind of, is it a split rank? You have both the shoulder strap, right, as well as the arm thing. And is it in conjunction?
No, I think it's the same. I think, and again, I think, because again, it's just the details that don't pop as much. I guess because it's not a TV series where you're seeing it all the time. But I believe it's like it's bigger on the shoulder and smaller on
but it's the
sleeves.
Same information, right?
Yeah.
So it seems busier than I don't know. I like the Monster Maroons in some ways. It's just I don't know.
Now the thing is, do they don't have a dress uniform, because that thing is a dress uniform. Like,
essentially,
it's not very yeah. So there is no more dress uniform.
But there was not
a
dress uniform for the motion picture movie either.
When did we have time?
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's true.
in later.
Well, we had lots of time, but we did not use it to
When
change
they're with
clothes.
Spock's coffin, there's no difference.
Yeah. No, yeah.
You know.
Except the kilt. Apparently it's a kilt variant.
Oh,
if you're
that's
named Scotty.
That's true. Okay.
Now, because like to me, I imagine this, because this is utilitarian to me. Like where you place your pen, like how do you know? Like, because like in the Army, when we had to do our dress blues, like you literally had to bring out a ruler, and like that had to be on par, and people would point it out if it wasn't. So I'm like, how do you know where to put that pen? Does it stick on in the future? Is there like what's going on there? And then is that because you have like the things poking you in the chest the whole time? I don't know.
Well,
of course, I guess you have like those 3 things of padding, like you said, Daniel.
Oh, if you remember in Relics, Scotty actually had a little patch where he knew exactly where to put his pin.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it's a little like shadow.
But I don't know. I've never been as impressed with the monster. I think they look good. I don't have anywhere near the same problem that I've had with the motion picture stuff with the Maroons. I just
Well, I would argue that you're going to have some utilitarian problems. Like, in other words, can you fight the Gorn with that thing on rolling around in the desert? Yeah, Monster Maroon.
Well, you'd have to take off the jacket at least, right?
But then people will see your Go Climb a Rock shirt.
Well, I do kind of like this is within the time period, the generations of Kirk look with the vest. I mean, that kind of is kind of a cool look. He had, the first captain's vest, I guess, if you want to, before we went to the other ones. So that was kind of cool, the off-jacket look. Kirk kind of still looks cool in that. Though, I believe he still has a pin underneath that. So, like, do you have the pin over that? Like, that's going to be really uncomfortable to be smushing the pin on your vest over your jacket. And anyway.
All right, well, so that's the end of TOS, guys. And I struggled. I know I mentioned earlier on the show I wanted to do everything in order, but the Kelvinverse movies obviously copy so much from what we've talked about today. So I just want to cover that real quick before we move on to the 24th century stuff. First, I want to say, and we can talk about this as much or as little as you want, the original JJ designs, I love them. I think they're improvements on the original, but they're essentially the same. I mean, there's not much difference, right? You guys have any issues or anything you really want to talk about?
You have the texture. I mean, that was the big difference.
I love the texture.
You had these tiny little Delta shields texturing everything, which, I mean, I don't think the technology even existed in the 60s to make something like that, at least cost effectively. So, but yeah, I like the texturing. Everything looks a little crisper. Like maybe. I mean, I know like that the TOS uniforms are made out of multiple pieces, but it kind of feels like one tunic thrown over their heads. Whereas in the JJ, it felt like, it just was tailored really well and fit really well. And we get new cadet uniforms, like all the red that they all wear as cadets, which look really nice.
Hats.
Which is kind of a throwback to the Monster Maroons
in a way,
I think. Specifically, also though, I wanted to mention that scene at the end of, is it Into Darkness or which is the one that? Oh yeah, no, it's the end of 09, where Captain Pike is in the wheelchair.
Right.
He's actually wearing essentially a motion picture uniform, which is
the Admiral.
It's a great nod. I mean, like I said, I don't love those uniforms by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a good reference. Like that's a cool way to kind of be like, oh, there are these uniforms that still exist in this time period.
Yeah, because even in maybe I'm misremembering, but I think Into Darkness when he's dressing down, Kirk and Spock to a degree, he is in that Admiral's uniform because he has the cane at that point, I guess. But yeah, that does pop on him, that blue and white, if I'm remembering that correctly. Yeah,
grayer and white, but
yeah,
and what you were mentioning, Darren, too, the red uniforms of the cadets are obviously a bit more red because not only are the tops red, but the pants are red as well. So it's very, very red. But as a cadet, you can see that. I think that's totally reasonable. And then in the next,
now
go ahead.
I was just going to say that the women are still in miniskirts
with no rank because they have short sleeves.
Yeah. Well, what does it matter? As long as they bring you your chicken sandwich and coffee. I mean, does it? And it's obviously a joke, listeners. It's obviously a joke. But in Into Darkness, was that the first time that we saw the gray kind of? I don't know if they're dress uniforms at that point.
Oh yeah. It might. I cannot place it. It's been a while since I've watched 2009, but I do know that you also had Kirk had his black version. It wasn't quite an undersuit, but it had like the little, blank logo, chevron logo on his chest, but it was definitely not red, blue, or gold.
Yeah, that was.
I think that was his undershirt. I think everybody wears that as their undershirt, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to me, and this is gonna maybe sound stupid, but I think it took me a long time in my fandom to figure out, even in TOS, that they're wearing black undershirts. I always thought that it was just a really big black collar. Yeah, but it was actually a low collar on the actual color uniform. It's just a black T-shirt they're wearing under it that's higher. So, but yeah, and I think they did refine the uniforms a little bit in Beyond, and gave the women sleeves and such for Beyond. Again, I've only seen it once, so I'm not perfect on it. But yeah, I do agree with everything popping and all that.
Higher collars in Beyond.
Yes.
I kind of don't really like them. But what I do like is the overcoats. The blue overcoats.
Oh, like the field jackets?
Yep. I really, really like those. Specifically, I think Kirk and Chekhov specifically were wearing them. I really liked that. I thought they were, and then of course we get the real quick just to go over this in 09 when there was the dropping scene and everybody was wearing like a different color. I like that. I don't know. I think.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, he had.
Yeah.
There was it like black? Because I know Sulu had the gold and the guy who died had the red.
Because Engineer Olsen.
Olsen.
What do you mean? R.I.P. Darren.
Look, I don't remember shooting his remains at a torpedo, and it wasn't really that memorable.
Olsen's gone.
We shot out his remains, but
look, they've done empty coffins before. Okay.
Tomb of the Unknown Starfleeter.
So I mean, honestly, the Kelvin verse, in a lot of ways, of course, is just it's just kind of putting its own spin on what we've seen before. But other than that, is there any other Kelvin Universe uniform stuff that you guys wanted to talk about? Oh, dress uniforms.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we get, the really nice looking, dress uniforms. I mean, you also kind of already mentioned they're not cadet, but like the gray ones with the very modern, current looking hats.
Like the Into Darkness memorial scene.
So we've talked quite a bit about uniforms, and we really only got a little bit through. I have a feeling maybe in the future you're going to get some more Star Trek uniforms, Starfleet uniforms, in fact. But hey, Philip, are you going to be talking about uniforms next week, or do you have something else in mind?
Well, not much uniforms, but more like costuming and staging. And, in fact, we're going to be revisiting our theater in Star Trek with, instead of having my fiance like I had last time on here.
Don't bring your fiance on ever again, Phillip. That's just
please don't make me watch that Shakespeare episode. Please don't make me watch it.
So instead, next week we're going to have my wife instead, and I'll go ahead and pick
I
the
like
episodes.
Her.
Yeah,
she's way better.
Much better.
She's just great,
right? Because this time, she's not going anywhere. And so the episodes we will be talking about for theatricality in Star Trek Part 2 is the Enterprise episode, Shuttle Pod 1, the DS9 episode, Hard Time, and the Voyager episode, Muse. So we look forward to talking about that with the three of us and someone who knows a thing or two about theater and about talking Star Trek with me.
Awesome. I look forward to it.
But if you want to tell me your thoughts on the episodes before we get to our recording, you can find me on Twitter at NCPublicServant.
And Darren, how about you? How would they talk to you about maybe what is your ranking on the
Boy Scout uniforms?
Stormtrooper uniforms. I'm actually kind of curious because I would like to know
my
this,
ranking of the what is considered the evolution of the Stormtrooper. Oh yeah.
What is number one? Can you give us a sneak peek? What is your favorite?
It's kind of hard to go wrong with the classic, the A New Hope Stormtrooper. But I mean, that's the one I have. So
give us a little more controversial answer. Say, I love clone troopers. Clone troopers are my favorite.
Are great. They are really nice.
All right.
But they can find me on Twitter under username Dr. Sci-Fi, DRSCIFI.
And they can find me on Twitter as well, at OneUpDan. That's the number one, not the word, as in the first Star Trek movie uniforms are terrible. I'm Daniel Prue.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Darren Moser.
Stranded here on SETI Alpha 3.